Say DAF today, and most people will think of large Dutch trucks. Others may remember the company's small passenger cars with the belt-driven variomatic continuously variable transmission. But in the 1950s, the same company built a military vehicle with no conventional driven axles underneath. Instead, two drive shafts ran along the sides of the chassis, forming an H-shaped layout. This is the DAF YA-126, a Dutch military vehicle with 4 driven wheels and 2 additional wheels that were not powered at all. After the Second World War, the Royal Netherlands Army operated a mixture of British and American vehicles, including the Dodge WC series. The vehicles were aging, while the wide variety of models made spare parts supply increasingly difficult. The Army needed standardized military vehicles of its own. On December 20, 1951, the Dutch government awarded DAF a contract worth 175 million guilders as part of a rearmament program supported by American post-war aid. One of the new vehicles developed under this contract was the light DAF YA-126, designed to replace the aging Dodge WC. Under the hood was an American Hercules JXC, a 4.6-liter inline-6, producing approximately 102 horsepower. That was more than adequate for a military vehicle with a payload of around 1 ton, but the engine was not the YA-126's most distinctive feature. On the road, power was sent only to the rear wheels. When extra traction was needed off-road, the driver could engage the front wheels, turning the YA-126 into a 4-wheel drive vehicle. It used a 4-speed Warner gear manual transmission and could reach approximately 50 miles per hour, or 80 kilometers per hour. Back in the 1930s, Hub Van Doorn and military engineer Piet van der Trappen developed the Trado system. A truck's conventional rear axle was replaced by a special bogie with 2 driven axles, significantly improving its off-road capability. The H-drive was a different design, but it continued DAF's tradition of unconventional engineering solutions. After the gearbox, a central differential divided the power between the left and right sides of the YA-126. From there, 2 drive shafts ran along the sides of the chassis. At each wheel, a bevel gearbox redirected the power outwards. Viewed from above, the layout resembled the letter H, hence the name H-drive. There were no conventional live axles, with large differential housings in the middle. This gave the YA-126 generous ground clearance and independent suspension on all 4 wheels. And then there were the 2 wheels mounted between the front and rear axles. They were not powered at all. They served as spare wheels, but when the vehicle crossed a sharp ridge or similar obstacle, they could roll over it and help prevent the YA-126 from becoming high-centered. Among Dutch soldiers, the YA-126 was better known simply as the WEP, short for weapon carrier. The standard version had longitudinal benches in the cargo area and carried soldiers along with their equipment. DAF also produced an ambulance variant, while some vehicles were later adapted for command and communications duties. In total, 3 496 YA-126s were built, including approximately 500 ambulances. And it is this contrast that makes DAF's story so fascinating to me. At almost the same time that it was producing the military YA-126, the company was preparing a very different technological revolution. In 1958, DAF unveiled the small DAF 600, and series production began the following year. It made history as the first mass-produced passenger car to come with a continuously variable transmission as standard DAF's Variomatic. The H-drive and the Variomatic were entirely different systems, but both reflected the same DAF philosophy. When a conventional transmission reaches its limits, do not keep refining it forever, create a different system. In 1979, 472 former ambulances were converted into radio and communications vehicles. From 1980 onwards, the YA-126 was gradually replaced by the newer DAA 4440 and YA 4442, and in some roles by the Land Rover 110. By 1997, the last vehicles had been withdrawn even from mobilization reserves, roughly 4 decades after production began. I am always impressed when a vehicle created in the early 1950s is still being kept in military reserve almost half a century later. Today, surviving YA-126s are preserved by collectors, and the Netherlands even has a dedicated owners club for the model. The DAF YA-126 showed that off-road capability depends not only on power, but also on how that power is delivered to the wheels. Which unusual military vehicle should we explore next? Let us know in the comments.